Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place. Today, we've got to talk about the Toxic Avenger movie trailer. It came out and it was absolutely insane. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. And then also we're going to talk about the comic tie-ins that are happening along with this movie. So let's jump right into it. So we've got to talk a little bit about this trailer because the trailer was actually so much better than I thought it would be. This movie, I pictured as being watered down. I really did. I didn't think they were going to be able to go the places that Troma would go. But just from this trailer alone, my excitement level for this movie has escalated so far because now I know that they're going to be gross, they're going to be dirty, they're going to be brutal about it all. It's going to have all the things that made Toxic Avenger Toxic Avenger. In fact, this movie very much gives me that same vibe as the very first Toxic Avenger movie, because in that very first Toxic Avenger movie, we got a brutality that even the sequels to the Toxic Avenger lacked. They became a little bit more silly, and this looks like it is going to lean into the silly just the way the original did, but also give us a lot of brutality. There is so much gore in this trailer that I think that gore hounds are going to be excited to see this movie just for that. If you are a Toxic Avenger fan like me, you might be a little bit off-put by Peter Dinklage being the Toxic Avenger. I really thought they would go with him looking larger than what they do in the movie. And this trailer shows you just how big the Toxic Avenger is going to be in comparison to the original Toxic Avenger. Now, a lot of people did talk about the fact that this movie wasn't necessarily a reboot, but sort of like another story. I don't know if that was something they were doing and they cut it out. That's not the vibe I'm getting. It's like this is a direct reboot. Now, the cool thing about this trailer is that it starts off very, I'm going to say in a very RoboCop way, because you get a commercial as this movie. So you're getting a commercial for a restaurant, and then you're getting news clips, and you're getting all of these interviews being done and all this other stuff. And it's intermingled in with all the gore that you get from the movie. So I think that that really works, and it sort of presents this vibe with the movie that it's not going to take itself seriously. And the commercials that they talk about and do, I really can't even talk about on this channel without getting demonetized. So, you know, you have this stuff that you really can't talk about on a YouTube channel. And all of that is what this movie gives me. Very much the Toxic Avenger of classic, and I'm happy for that. Now, the other thing that I said we were going to address was the fact that they are doing tie-in comics with this movie. And these tie-in comics look every bit as insane and sound every bit as insane as the movie itself. So it looks like the Toxic Avenger is finally getting some recognition in the mainstream world. And I honestly think that might be a good thing. Although it does worry me once things go mainstream sometimes, like Troma is Troma, and if you know Troma and love Troma, then you know why it's funny. You know why Troma works so well. I think that this movie doesn't stray from that, and from what I've seen and heard about the comics, they're not going to stray from that either. But what exactly can we expect for the future of the Toxic Avenger? Let's talk about these comics. Alright, so there are a few tie-in comics coming from the Toxic Avenger, and I don't even know what to think of these if I'm being honest, but they are coming. And first up, this summer, the Toxic Avenger will team up with none other than Jesus. That's right, in the pages of a new comic book written by Mark Russell and Richard Pace and published by Ahoy Comics, the debut issue of the Toxie team-up is the latest comic book for the Troma film's character, following Matt Bohr's and Fred Harper's revival in 2024. At the recent Comics Pro, retailers were told Ahoy's publishing plan for the Toxic Avenger in 2025 alongside the release of the new movie. So what exactly can you expect from this? Well, in May of 2025, the Toxic Avenger pinup special drops. In June of 2025, the Toxie team-up series launches with a debut written by Mark Russell and drawn by Richard Pace, featuring the Toxic Avenger and the Son of God. In July of 2025, timed to Comic-Con International and ahead of the release of the highly anticipated Toxic Crusaders beat-em-up game from Retroware, Ahoy will launch its first ever ongoing series in July featuring the Toxic Avenger. And in fall of 2025, Ahoy will launch the spin-off of the Toxic Avenger series, timed to the Cineverse theatrical release of the Toxic Avenger starring Peter Dinklage as Toxie. Kicking off Labor Day weekend, directed by Macon Blair of I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, and it stars Emmy and Golden Globe winner Peter Dinklage from the Game of Thrones, along with Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, Jacob Tremblay, Julia Davis, and Taylor Page. Then the Toxie team-up number 2 featuring the Jersey Devil from Ahoy's Project Cryptid series will be written by Stuart Moore and illustrated by Ryan Kelly. This will feature a trading card by Rob Steen, a cover by Fred Harper, and a cover by Ryan Kelly. Okay, so that's what to expect from the comics. And with the comics and the movie coming out, it gives me a really nice feeling about the future of the Toxic Avenger. I could see this becoming maybe a franchise if Peter Dinklage is willing to continue on. And a lot of that is going to be dependent on him. Because sure, they can make this a franchise, especially if this one does well. I know that this movie took forever to come out, but it is something that a lot of fans were clamoring for and wanted to see. And when you have something already that the fans want to see, they're going to come out in droves to check it out. If it's playing anywhere near you, you're going to want to check it out because this is a very different type of superhero film. And that being said, if you have superhero fatigue, this might actually fix that. Because the original Toxic Avenger was billed as the first superhero from New Jersey. And this movie seems like it is going to very much be in that vein. And I can't stress that enough because that is a selling point for every fan who wants to see the original Toxic Avenger style in this movie. Because if you know what that was, this movie seems like it's going to push all those same buttons. Be just as dirty, just as filthy, just as gory. And for a Troma movie to go mainstream and be able to maintain exactly what made it a Troma movie is something I personally think I'm excited for. And the comic books, they do look very interesting. They look like something I might actually check out. They look a bit wild and crazy, but that is the world of Troma. That should be the world of these comic books. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this movie sounds good, or do you think that they should have just left it alone? What are you thinking about the comic books themselves? Are you thinking that these are going to be fun comic books to read? Do you think that they give off that same Troma type of vibe? Or do you think that a comic book of the Toxic Avenger just doesn't work at all? As always, we want to know what you guys think. Make sure you're leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this crazy conversation as well. Make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers. And look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it. You know it and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.